Welcome back. Well, many of us give in to those sweet and salty cravings, calling it a cheat meal to make ourselves feel a bit better. Well, now new research has revealed eating 2 days of whatever you want can be linked to poor gut health, inflammation and long-term health effects.
So what can we indulge in and how much is too much? Well, to break it all down is dietitian and nutritionist Gemma O'Hanlon live in studio. Good morning to you, Gemma.
Good morning.
Okay, so this research, it was done by the University of Melbourne. What did it actually find?
Yeah, so this is done on mice, and they basically put mice on cheat meal diet, essentially. So they gave some mice a high bad fat diet, some mice a high good fat diet, and then some mice a regular diet. And what they found, unsurprisingly, with the bad fat diet, the mice had reduced immune cell, basically that they weren't working as well as they should be. Inflammation increased and also reduced bacteria, good bacteria in their gut. So essentially, their gut wasn't working as well. And this was under just 2 days, and it even got worse over a week. Now, the good news is that when the mice were put back on the regular diet, their gut health started to improve.
It bounced back.
That's right.
Did they delve into that and see whether those mice that were on that diet, on the cheat diet for 2 days, were they generally happier?
I don't think they asked those questions, but they
didn't get into it that deeply. But this was a study from a reputable place, right?
Right,
so we want to listen to this.
Yeah, and look, the findings can be, we can take them on in terms of, and what we know from human studies is that our gut can be impacted in just a couple of days. So, but really, the overall message is, we don't want to get too caught up on you can't have a cheat meal here and there, because no one has the perfect diet, right? So we want to be able to have those indulgences occasionally and not feel we have to be too strict, because otherwise you're just going to end up indulging anyway.
So this is the idea behind that 2 day, a week cheat meal, right? Is that you're more likely to stick to it if you give yourself a break.
Give a little bit of a leeway.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
would a really bad cheat meal look like?
Oh, I mean, fast food, your typical takeaway, your burgers, your fries, whatever the meal is that you're having late at night after you've been at the pub, those sort of things. So, David, you're looking a bit scared.
Yum, yeah.
Okay, so when you said you can have a cheat meal occasionally, rather than this 2 day thing, which this study has said not great, but you can have a cheat meal occasionally. How often is that? Quantify it.
Well, I think we want to have a cheat meal rather than a cheat day or a cheat week. So, it's the frequency that matters. So I think, maybe once a week you might have an indulgence, but, the rest of the time it should be mostly healthy, right? And that's what we've got to focus on, is probably a good 90-10 rule, 90% of the time eating well, and then it's okay to have an indulgence here and there.
You spoke about the problems in mice when they did this, but what are the long-term effects of continuous, ongoing cheat meals?
Yeah, so over time it can increase our risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, a number of cancers, and even mental illness. So this is some emerging research as well, is that, food does impact our mood, and if we're fueling our bodies with rubbish, essentially ongoing, then what's going to happen to the mind? Because our gut and our brain talk often. They're best mates. And, so basically our brain will be impacted long term if we have that unhealthy diet.
Hard to do, right? Just a minute's worth of advice or 30 seconds worth of advice for people that are sitting at home going, yeah, I know all that, I just can't do it.
Yeah, look, I think don't give up. Essentially, create your environment that encourages you to eat well. So stock your fridge up, your pantry up with healthy foods. Make sure you're starting the day with a healthy breakfast. You're more likely to set yourself up for success. Eat regularly so you don't get to that point where you're super hungry or hangry and you're just reaching for whatever's closest, and that's often unhealthy. And also just avoid that all or nothing mindset. Again, allow indulgences occasionally, but focus on all the good stuff most of the time.
Yeah, awesome.
So good. Thanks for that, Gemma.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.